Hello, in this section we are going to be learning how to make equilateral triangles. We will be using two strips to make our equilateral triangle, then forming a hexagon out of those equilateral triangles. You will learn how to make angles using your QuiltCut2 fabric cutting system. So let's get going. You will be sewing two strips together, and then we'll be cutting them into our equilateral triangles. The first thing you need to do is square up your fabric. When we're using multiple layers like this, you need to check underneath just to make sure, see what I mean? You need to make sure that all pieces are going to be cut, or you're not going to like your first cut. So this one looks like it goes all the way up to about the 6 up there. So I'm glad I checked that. And I'm going to line up here so I make sure that I catch all that fabric. And you have given yourself a nice straight edge. Now each one of our strip units are going to be 2.5, just like a jelly roll is. So we're going to take our speed gauge, loosen the screw, and put it at a measurement of 2.5 inches. 1, 2.5. Tighten the screw down. And now your measurement is held in place. It's not going to move on you. To cut our strips, you take the inside edge of your speed gauge and you're going to line it up on that nice straight cut that you just cut, making all your fine-tuned movements so that it's really nice and straight, and we can cut our strip. Move the cutting head over. Press the speed gauge down and fine tune so you make a nice straight cut, a perfect 2.5-inch strip. It is best to work in segments of 22 inches, and that way you don't have this long strip of selvage to selvage, which is generally 40 to 42 inches to work with. So I'm just going to take my cutting head, rotate it over here to the end where the fold is, and I'm just going to cut it off. Now I have my two strips cut. They are right side together, and I'm ready to sew them together. Make sure that your edges are nice and straight. You want to set your seams, and then you press them open using the tip of the iron to make a nice sharp crease. Put one strip unit face up and the other strip unit face down. Take your finger and just press that seam together. They will interlock really nice. The next thing we want to do is make sure that this strip set is straight on the board. Just tap on it a little bit. There. Now we know that that is straight in alignment. Now to do your equilateral triangles, we are going to do the 60-degree angle as it goes off to the left. Then you squeeze on the handle, and we're going to go all the way to the other side. And now we're at the 60-degree angle as it goes off to the right. We're going to be using both sides. So let's make our first cut. We are going to come over to the edge here, and we're going to cut off right to the tip of our strip units. Now we're going to take our cutting head, squeeze on the handle, go to the left side 60 degree, line up the cutting edge right with this little point right here, and cut your first equilateral triangle. And we are going to continue down the strip, lining up this tip with your cutting edge, cutting our equilateral triangles. So back and forth you go. Just like so. And this is what you're ending up with. You are going to have two opposite colors, one with the stripes on the point and the floral on the top, and then the opposite on the other two. Then what you can do is you're going to bring your pieces over and start designing again how you think that they look good. Do you want it to be opposite every other one? Like so. Let's see, right here and right here. And look at that. That is a hexagon. And we're going to sew 1/2 first, and then we will sew the other half. And then you see you will have a nice straight line for your final sewing seam. So you take right sides together, line them up, and you will see that we have a nice little sandwich here with our seam allowances. And it is always best, if you can, to start sewing from the tip to the outside. And again, we're sewing with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And put your finger right over those seams so they don't flip on you. See how we have that? Then we are going to take our other piece, place it on, and now when you're in the back here, you want to just open that seam up like so and sew down in a 1/4 inch seam. And I'm just going to check that. It's all looking good. So there is one side completed. Now we can move to the second side. Again, we want to flip them over, right sides together, line up nice, start from the point. We press these from the back because we're going to press open our seams. Now this is different than what we're accustomed to by taking our seams and folding over to one side. And the reason that we press them open is because of the center point. It won't be as bulky. And I'll show you what we mean after we sew these all together. So we just want to press them open like so. It's very important that we have these 2 points right here match up. The best way to do that is we're going to put right sides together, lining them up as straight as we can. Then see how all of these seams are pressed open, and you are going to be able to see right where the point is. Take a pin and just pin that in, right like so. And that way you know that you are in the center. And I'll just put a couple more pins on either side here, like so. Again, watch your seams so they lay flat, a nice 1/4 inch. Make sure you pull your pin out before you run it over and break your needle. I've done that many times. We have this center seam and we want to press it open. In the center, look, there's a lot of fabric coming together in that center piece, and that will be the hardest, of course, to press. And we have our hexagon. Very easy to do, and this would be ready to go into a quilt. So you can use any size strips you want, and it's going to create a different looking hexagon with every different strip set. That was really easy to do. It was fun, and your girlfriends are going to be just amazed on how good you're getting, and it all started with 2 strips cut with the QuiltCut2 and using the angle, the 60-degree angle, to make our equilateral triangles.